also levying local body taxes on entry and exit of goods. Okay, so there were different types of taxes which were which were being implemented into the system, or they were existing in the tax structure before GST. So number of taxes were there. Okay? So that is why it was called indirect tax. And why was it called indirect tax? Because we were the term direct means from my income directly it is being deducted. All of you, those who are working, many of you are working, all of you know. Indirect means it is not being deducted directly from my income, but indirectly I am paying the taxes through different modes. Okay, when I'm purchasing the goods and services, then I am paying the taxes. Okay, so that is why it was known as indirect taxes. Okay, so it was again direct taxes we were paying. Then these indirect taxes in the old regime before GST was introduced, again the taxpayer, it was becoming a burden on the taxpayer, but it was a major source of revenue for the government. And these taxes were being paid indirectly to the government. Okay, so that is why they were called indirect taxes. Advantages, if you see, of those indirect, so many indirect taxes that were there, it was these indirect taxes were working towards the development of economy, towards I mean, it was controlling wasteful expenditure in some way or the other, psychological advantage for the dealers, major source of revenue. It was boosting up exports. But when it came to disadvantages, then there is the particular word that was being used was the cascading effect. Okay. So in simple words, if we say that when tax keeps on levying again and again on the same goods, then it leads to double taxation or the cascading effect. That is called double taxation, is called as cascading effect. So that was happening in case of indirect taxes, with so many taxes being levied one after the other. Then multiple points of taxation, basically it was leading to inflation. So various, because of various and high impact on high duties, then lots of paperwork, many tax evasion was going on. Tax administration was becoming little difficult. So various types of this indirect taxes was becoming burdensome both on the regulators and we people who are paying the taxes. So because of the shortcoming of the old regime of indirect taxes, it led to the opening of or the birth of GST. So over here, write down one question, all of you, because I might forget tomorrow few of the question. So whatever questions I will remember, basic questions of GST, I will be going on telling you. So one question can be over here. Explain in detail the disadvantages of the indirect tax structure. Explain in detail the disadvantages of indirect tax structure. Prior to GST. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all of you.
Yes, ma'am.
So this can be one of the questions. So I'm not going into calculation and all because I don't have time for all those things also. Okay. So, because the disadvantages of that indirect tax system, where so many number of taxes were there, led to led to the formation of GST. So, what has been the benefits of GST? Reduction in cascading of taxes or double taxation. So, when there is reduction in taxes, obviously there will be reduction in prices. Okay. Common national market, I'll come to that, and benefits to small taxpayer. Why benefits to small taxpayer? Because the tax incidence is coming down. We don't have to pay too much of taxes right now. And it is a self-regulating tax system, that also I will tell you, and non-intrusive electronic tax system, that also I'll explain it in detail. What is the meaning of this? Okay. So now let us come to what is GST, or the basics of GST. Okay. So GST, or goods and service tax, became applicable in India on the 1st of July 2017. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Before that, I've already told you what are the things were there. But GST, although is applicable to trading and manufacturing of goods as provided in the GST Act, but there are certain goods on which GST is not applicable. For example, your crude petroleum, okay, aviation turbine fuel, natural gases, GST is not applicable in that. Okay. So GST, and it is also not applicable on certain services. So it is not applicable on your salaries and wages. It is not applicable on interest. Okay.
Yes,
It is not applicable on government fees. Okay. Now, GST is divided into three types. One is CGST, SGST, and
IGST.
now write down a question over here.
Yes.
What are the different types of GST? So you have to basically write about these three. Okay.
मैम यूटी जीएसटी गोटे अछि
हाँ, यूटी होची तमरा यूनियन टेरिटरी जीएसटी.
यस यस
Okay. If your business is in union territory, then UT GST will apply in place of SGST.
यस मैम
मैं आसुची सेठी के आसुची.
ओके मैम
Give me one sec, student. I've just reached home.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So what is CGST? Many of you must be knowing that.
Yes, ma'am. It's central
Goods and service.
What is the mean? What is the difference between CGST and SGST?
Yes, ma'am. Because all the indirect taxes has been stopped, and one tax GST might will, if you are the charging, that CGST will be central part and SGST will be state government income.
CGST will be central part and SGST will be
state government. Yes.
Okay. So now, before we move into CGST, SGST, IGST, and all. So, unlike earlier in the indirect taxes, where multiple taxes were being imposed, GST introduced just the one tax, but with three components. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
With three different components. Okay. So the use of these three components has become very, very essential. Okay.
Correct.
So the full form of CGST is Central Goods and Service Taxes. Under GST, CGST is a tax which is levied on intrastate supplies. Intrastate, that is between two states, supplies of both goods and services, and it is levied by the central government and collected by it for its coffers. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So it is governed, CGST is governed by the central government. And then when we come to SGST, it means state goods and service taxes under GST. So equivalent amount of SGST is levied on intrastate supplies of both goods and services by the particular state government where the product is sold or consumed. Okay.
Yes.
So therefore, this levy and collection of SGST, it is governed by respective state SGST Act, which was rolled out in 2017, and it has been amended from time to time. Okay.
Yes.
Ma'am, hello, ma'am.
Yes, yes. Tell me.
Ma'am, I got disconnected due to internet connection. Can you please repeat it again?
कौन repeat करिए बेटा?
मैम इब्बे लास्ट जो सीजीएसटी पे जागा है.
Okay, 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 okay. ठीक है, ठीक है. Okay, so Mukotali, CGST is levied by the center on intra-state goods and services that are being intra-state goods and services, but it is levied by the center. And for SGST, it is levied by the state. Okay, it is levied by the state, and for the intrastate goods and services consumed in the particular, in that state where the goods, where the product sold is consumed. Okay, that state is going to levy an equal amount of SGST. Okay. So CG and this SGST is ruled by SGST Act 2017, which has been amended from time to time. Okay. So let me give you a small example for this. Supposing I am a dealer in Odisha, okay, and I sold goods to Mr. A Limited, who is there in also Odisha. Okay, also Odisha.
Okay.
Worth, let's say 10,000. Okay, so the GST rate is 18%. Let's assume it is 18% in this case. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So comprising of CGST rate of 9% and an SGST rate of 9%.
9%.
Okay. So it is 9%, 9% equally. So the dealer will collect on 10,000, 18%, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So out of which 900 will go to the central government and 900 will go to Odisha government. Okay, right? Now, second is, I am here in Odisha, but I am selling the goods in, let's say, Chhattisgarh.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now tell me.
IGST.
IGST.
Okay.
Integrated goods and services.
Integrated goods and services tax.
Yes. Okay?
Yes.
That is.
Because if you are just selling to other state, within state it will be CGST, other state, and that will be IGST.
Yes. So what is IGST? It is integrated goods and services tax. So under GST, IGST is a tax which is levied on all interstate supplies of goods or services or across two or more states or union territories. If it is union territories, then
UTGST and CGST applicable.
yes. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And it is IGST is governed by IGST Act 2017. Okay. It is basically apply on goods and services, both in case of it is IGST will also be applicable on supply of goods and services for import into India and export from India also.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So under IGST, export would be zero rated and tax will be shared between the central and state government. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I just want to cover only that much that which you will get. Okay. Another thing. Supposing, let's come to IGST. So there is a dealer in Bhubaneswar, but he is making a sale to a dealer in, let's say, Chandigarh. Okay.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
the GST rate is 5%.
Yes.
Yes.
Again, somebody is scribbling on the screen. Please, you people are adults. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Okay. If you people keep on doing this, you people are adults now. We are not small kids who are studying in class 2 and 3. Okay. Okay. So when a dealer in Mumbai makes when a dealer in let's say Bhubaneswar makes a sale to a person in Mumbai, and the GST rate is 5%. So here IGST of 5% will be applicable. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, correct, ma'am.
Now we will talk about place of supply. Please write this down. What is a place of supply under GST? So these are, I mean, fragments of question. What is place of supply under GST?
Ma'am,
long question पड़िबो माने approximate long.
See, kemti asi paribo. How can it come? Supposing what is GST? Okay. What are the different taxes levied under GST? Or what do you first ask you what is GST? What is CGST, SGST, IGST? And what do you understand by place of supply?
Okay.
So together it will form one question.
Okay.
So place of supply in case of goods, you can say is the location of goods at the time at which the movement of goods stops for delivery to the recipient. That is called place of supply. It is the location of goods at the time where the movement of goods, they use the word terminates or stops or finishes for the delivery to the recipient. Okay? So for example, a person in Odisha is selling goods to another person living in Chhattisgarh. Okay? And they have, like I'm selling the goods to somebody who is living in Chhattisgarh. And so I have handed it over to a transport company to deliver it in Chhattisgarh. So the place of supply is Chhattisgarh. And it is an interstate sale. Okay? So why is this place of supply important, anybody?
Because GST is a destination-based tax, ma'am.
Exactly. It is a destination tax. Okay. So where the goods are going over there, the tax will be levied. Okay. So that is why the place of supply is very important. And in case of services, goods have moved from one place to another place. But in case of services, it will be the location of the recipient. Okay? That is where the GST will be levied.
So, ma'am, can we say the place where the goods and services are received? You can say
Yes.
it this way,
Yes.
right? Yes.
But how they have, if you go through the books of GST, see, if you go through the act of GST, so they are not using the word received. They
Okay.
are using the word the delivery is terminated. Okay.
Okay.
That word they are using, they are very particular in using the words.
Okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
that is okay. So there are different rates like 0%, 0.25%, 3%, 5, 12, 18, like different percent of GST is there. So another question can be
Hello.
like why
Hello.
there was yes
Ma'am, I have a question.
yeah tell me.
Ma'am, GST and IGST. Suppose ma'am, जो माने share market trading करके annual income per day ma'am GST IGST ma'am suppose ma'am daily per day हम कटुची but हम जैसे annual income हमारे होची 11 lakhs या फिर already 15 lakhs ऊपर होची annual income ता बाद मैम केते GST हम देव पड़िबो सेमते हम किसी कहि परिबे
ନାଇଁ ବେଟା ମୁଁ ଏଟା ପଚାରିକି କହିପାରିବି ଠିକ ଅଛି I am not aware of this question. ଠିକ ଅଛି
Okay.
so you
Okay,
are
ma'am.
asking tell me the question once again. I can ask my GST consultant.
Ma'am,
It's
per
good for
day
me also. I will learn. The
ଯେତେବେଳେ ମ୍ୟାମ୍ ଆମ ସପୋଜ ମ୍ୟାମ୍ ଆମେ ଇଣ୍ଟ୍ରାଡେ କରୁଛେ ତ ମ୍ୟାମ୍ ଆମର ଯେତେବେଳେ ପର ଡେ ଟୋଟାଲ ଜିଏସଟି କଟୁଛି 9ଟା ଭେରାଇଟିର ପର ମ୍ୟାମ୍ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆନୁଆଲ ଇନକମ୍ ଆମର ହଉଛି 12 lakhs या फिर 14 lakhs ଉପରେ ହଉଛି ତା ବାଦ ଆମେ ସେଥିରେ ଆଇଜିଏସଟି ଦବୁ या फिर जीएसटी ଦବୁ या फिर ବୋଥ ନଦେଲେ ବି ଚଳିବ या फिर ଦବାକୁ ପଡିବ
Okay. Anybody knows this answer over here? Because I don't know. I need to ask. I'm not an expert in GST.
Intraday share market रे IGST GST तो हवा कथा नो सेटा डायरेक्ट टैक्स होते
Exactly.
ସେଇଟା ମୁଁ ଟ୍ୟାକ୍ସ କଟୁଛି ବଟ ମୁଁ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଓଭରଅଲ ଯେତେବେଳେ ପ୍ରଫିଟ ହେଉଛି 15 lakhs ଉପରେ ଆନୁଆଲ ମ୍ୟାମ୍ ତ ତାପରେ କେତେ ମ୍ୟାମ୍ ଟ୍ୟାକ୍ସ ଦବାକୁ ପଡିବ ଆମକୁ ସେଇଟା
जेटा निजर जेटा सेटा निजर
ତମେ ଇଣ୍ଟ୍ରାଡେ ଇଏ ଗୁଡା କରୁଛ ଟ୍ରେଡିଂ କରୁଛ
ହଁ ମ୍ୟାମ୍ ମୋର ନିଜର ବ୍ରୋକରସିପ ଅଛି ମ୍ୟାମ୍ ସେଥିଲାଗି
ଆପଣ ଦଉଛନ୍ତି
ଆଜ୍ଞା ମ୍ୟାମ୍
ମାନେ ଜିଏସଟି ଆଇଜିଏସଟି ଟା କଟୁଛି
ହଁ ମ୍ୟାମ୍
मैम हमें जो स्लैब थिबा से समय से स्लैब रे ही कटिबो सेटा
एग्जैक्टली
अच्छा
I am not aware because I know
एबे जेंति कि
सर्विस ना जितने कटु
certain level of income करे तो तमर income tax charge होगा so GST पुनी ये होगा कि नहीं that I need to ask. I'll definitely ask. This is something that I will also learn.
Okay ma'am, thank you.
I'll ask my GST consultant. Okay.
Okay.
That's why GST is something which is, you know, not everybody is an expert in GST. Okay. And there is only the GST consultants who are knowing all the details about that. But this is something really good because my son's friend's father, he is also GST deputy commissioner. I can ask him today. I'll ask him today. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you for the question.
Thank you.
किंतु मैम शेयर मार्केट रे जे डायरेक्ट इनकम जेहेतु होती सेटा इनकम टैक्स रे ही जाए
नहीं नहीं बेटा देखो तो हमरो ही इज अ ब्रोकर तांकर ब्रोकरेज कंपनी अछि ना बुझि पर
सर्विस
ब्रोकर कंपनी पाए
हां they are the brokers for the company I mean
agents
we are talking from individual perspective.
yes ma'am.
So we will ask, we'll need to learn these things. Okay. Okay. Now the question, another question that I was telling you people, again relating to GST. Why was there a need for 3 types of GST? Please write down this question. why was there a need for 3 types of GST? CGST, SGST, and IGST. Now, UTGST, I'm considering it under SGST. Okay. Because obviously, if it is not a state, it is a union territory. So it will go into UTGST. So why was there a need for 3 types of GST? Okay. So what is the meaning of this? Brief, then you people have to elaborate. Okay.
Sure.
So when GST subsumed both indirect taxes of central government and state government. Okay. So central government was having excise duty, service tax, customs duty, what else? And and state government was having VAT, luxury tax, etc. You can take anything. So both the government now they had to depend on GST for their indirect tax revenue. Okay, both this government, both central and state. So the GST rate was then composed of 2 rates, one of CGST and the other of SGST. And why making an intra-state sale, okay, sale within the same state. So CGST collected will go to the central government and SGST collected will go to the state government, and UTGST will go to the union's government. Okay, but when it is so the IGST was designed to ensure the seamless flow of input tax credit from one state to another. So it was designed so that a state does not have to deal with every other state to settle the tax amount. Okay, and the state has to deal only with central government. So that is why IGST was developed. Okay. So this is another question of GST. Or kya question? Because this is such a huge thing. So I asked that what are the specific areas of GST which needs to be covered? Because you cannot cover GST within 1-2 classes. It will take a year to understand GST and everything. Just let me see what else they have told. Okay, now when GST, there are other countries which have already implemented GST. Okay, does anybody know who has implemented GST?
GST, ma'am, Australia.
Yes, Australia has implemented.
They
Canada.
are charging its
Brazil.
10% charging there, and Canada also they are saying GST as usual HST, and they are charging 13%.
So when in India, when India started thinking how to implement GST, so there were different models that were proposed. Okay.
Yes.
So one was the Cltc-Mba model of GST, okay, which was proposed. Then the Bagchi model was proposed. So these are, just remember the names. You can go through the details later on. One was Cltc-Mba model and the other was Bagchi model, which was proposed. Okay. And then the comprehensive dual structure model in India was introduced. And to have GST, constitutional amendments were also made. And now, because you people all are from the working arena, okay? So can you tell me, has GST benefited? Has the country benefited from GST?
Yes.
Yes.
Ma'am, for my point of view, yes, Subrat Kumar.
Okay. Now please write down another question. Along with, I mean, these are questions which will be together with what is GST and something. Point out in detail the pros and cons of GST. Point out in detail the pros and cons of GST in India. Okay. Now write down few points which have actually come up because which are the benefits of GST. First is a boost to the Make in India initiative. Why? Why was it a boost? Because when indirect taxes were there, due to double taxation, the goods and services were becoming more expensive. But with GST, our goods and services have become very competitive vis-a-vis your international partners. Okay. Point number 2, of course, elimination of multiple and double taxation. Point number 3 can be mitigation of the ill effects of cascading.
धीरे मैम
I'm sorry?
टिके धीरे धीरे डाकिबे टिके पॉइंट नंबर 3 टा कोन अछि
Mitigating the ill effects of cascading. So what does that mean? So when there is a subsumming, the word they use is subsumming, S-U-B-S-U-M-I-N-G. Okay. So when there is a subsumming of most of the central and state taxes, that means when most of the central and state taxes that were there, they were combined into GST in the form of CGST and SGST. So what happened? Double taxation was avoided, and because double taxation was avoided, so the ill effect of cascading means double taxation and the impact of double taxation. What is the impact of double taxation? Prices were becoming high, leading to inflation. All those things were becoming the impact. Our goods and services were becoming expensive when compared to foreign goods and services. Okay. So that was, so it helped to mitigate the bad effects of cascading. And so it provided competitiveness and also improved the liquidity of the business that was taking place in the country. Okay? Understood everybody?
Yes,
If you
ma'am.
did not, please ask me. I will explain once again.
Yes, got it, मैम. मैम मेरे मन में एक चीज आ रहा है, डिजिटलाइजेशन सबसे अच्छा है जो उन्होंने जीएसटी किया, डिजिटलाइजेशन.
Absolutely. Digitalization, I also feel, is one of the best things.
Best time, because everybody can file and get the return anywhere. You can see it, you can just file it.
Exactly.
That is my
You know,
best thing what I felt.
One of the best thing that India started during COVID was the UPI. Okay.
Yes.
I mean, India did not start at that time. It became very, very famous at that time. Because
Correct,
of COVID, we did not want to touch money. So now if you move around, even the Gupchup Walas have a scanner.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So very recently and how has it helped? We are not carrying cash so much. So it is literally throwing away the black money from our economy. Black money
Yes.
is moving out because people are using very less cash.
Exactly. And it is also save our time also, ma'am, because there we have to wait for the changes. If I'm just giving 100 rupees and just buy, but from 30 rupees, I'm just waiting, he has changed or not. So we are saving our time also.
Yes, yes. So very recently,
मैडम टंका प्रिंट करार खर्च भी कमे दउची.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes, you are correct.
Very recently, two of my friends came down from US. Okay. And they were carrying their dollars. So they immediately changed and kept it in their account. And they started using the UPI, not their UPI, but their parents' UPI. Okay. So they found it so comfortable, so comfortable. But when reverse happened, when my husband had gone to US recently, he had to carry cash, and carrying cash in a foreign country is difficult, and it is also very dangerous because you don't know, because cash is there means you will be attracting all kinds of thieves. Okay, so that is fine.
Yes, ma'am.
That is one. Next is GST has also widened the tax base. Okay, tax. I mean, there has been a large increase in the number of indirect taxpayers, which have, particularly after the introduction of GST. Okay. So if I go by the last data of 2019, 1920, I don't have the recent, but 1920 ka data ke hisab se, some almost around, there was an increase of 1.7 million registrants who chose to register under GST. Okay. I think that was 19 में जो data आया था, where the registration was done in 17-18, and according to the survey, the report which was, so that is GST has widened. So when more number of people are paying GST, what is increasing? The overall revenue of the government is also increasing. And there is also free flow of trade throughout the country. Throughout the country, there is free flow of trade because GST has taken over all the varieties of different taxes, and there are lots of taxes that were hindering the free flow, such as your octroi tax, your entry tax, check posts, etc. Many of these have evaporated. It has all been converted into one umbrella of GST, which is allowing a free flow of trade. Please keep yourself muted. Thank you very much. Okay. And other benefit can be easy tax compliance. Another point can be very easy tax compliance, because GST has replaced all the indirect taxes that were being leveled earlier into one tax. So obviously compliance has become easy, and it is also maintaining a uniformity. When there is uniformity, tax evasion cannot take place. Why? Because we know, okay, this is the GST rate. So if it is 18%, then CGST will be 9, SGST will be 9. So we are not thinking that, okay, yahan pe I have given sales tax, then I have to give octroi tax, then I have to give this, then I have to give that. That we are not thinking. Okay. So that is why it is
easier for administration.
Yes, easier
For
and
administration.
uniformity. And GST is also having a good technology backup also.
Ma'am, it's not only for a customer but a government also.
Yes, of
Just
course.
easy for the tracking as a administration.
Very easy to track, very easy to find people who are evading tax. One of my friend has a pretty big hotel in Puri. So I remember before GST, they used to take only cash. Okay. And they used to give those handbills, and also they were evading tax like anything. I have seen with my own eyes. Okay. But once GST came into the picture, now everything has changed. That does not mean that they are not evading, but still, because what you are purchasing, what you are servicing, everything it is accounted. So that is why it is becoming difficult for the tax evaders to evade GST.
Correct.
Okay. So there are other, you can look up benefits and to look up for the disadvantages also. Okay. So these can be different benefits, and if you look up into your books, other things will also be there. Okay. Students, I will close the class here today. Why? Because there is a death in the family. Okay.
Okay.
I have to, now we have to go to the hospital to receive the body.
Oh, sorry, ma'am.
My husband has just reached, so I have to move. So that is why also I was a bit late, because I could not get your link also, and that is another reason. Our uncle has
Okay,
passed
ma'am.
away, so we
Yes,
have to
ma'am.
move right now.
Yes, ma'am.
I have to.
No problem, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Thank you so much. all.
Thank you, ma'am.